I took a look at bamboo paper on Windows 10 about a year ago, and today I'm going to take a look at bamboo paper on the iPad and see what the difference is compared to relatively bare bones Windows 10 edition. And here it is. This is bamboo paper, and like I said before, if you have seen the Windows 10 review of it, the two videos that I did way back a year ago, basically my first and second videos on this channel, you'll see that the Windows 10 version is pretty bare bones compared to the iPad version. And this iPad I'm using specifically, as you can tell with that little bar at the bottom, this is the iPad Pro 11 inch. And I do have the second gen Apple Pencil with it as well. So, you know, I do have that with it. But yeah, so let's take a look. So over here, this is the same, pretty much the same screen as the Windows 10 version. I don't remember too much about the Windows 10 version since I don't really use this app that much, but I really wanted to try it out just to see in terms of note taking and, you know, electronic note taking in these times as a recording, you can't really go out too much, at least you shouldn't. So yeah, so this app could be here good for people who like to draw or note take, although for drawing, there are better options out there, much better options out there, especially for the iPad Pro. But yeah, so here, this is the main screen. So you can see here, right now I'm using the Apple Pencil, but as you can see here, even with my finger, it's pretty responsive. If you move it left and right like that with this high refresh rate screen, it's pretty smooth, it's pretty solid. You'll see here, you see the two notebooks that I created. This is actually a notebook from a while ago. It just has Scribble Scrabble on it, and same for this one I just made. And you can see here at the bottom here, you have a search button here, and the search, basically, you don't really search. It kind of just zooms out all the notebooks that you have created, and you can kind of select which one you want, and you can see what's inside each one. You can see I don't really have much inside either of them, and then when you press the home button again, it goes back. The info button here essentially is telling you about the application and about your Wacom ID or Wacom ID and the smart pad that you can get that allows you to like draw, and then it translates automatically to the app itself. So if I go away from that, and then also with the Wacom ID, it shows you the Wacom ID. I'm purposely skipping that part so that you don't see too much information. And then you have the trash can icon, which just removes the notebook altogether, as well as you have this sheet of paper down here. So this sheet of paper here, it lets you change the covers of the notebook. Yes, you wouldn't even think about being able to change the covers of the notebook with that icon. It's kind of strange, right? But that's what they chose to indicate that this is how you change things. So ironically though, when you look at it, I'm going to go back. Ironically, when you look at it, the little piece of paper at the bottom that's folded up, it kind of translates to the design of the button of the actual notebook when it folds itself up a little bit. And you can see here that you can change the paper type underneath, and it does change in the background subtly, but you can tell that it is there. Let me see if I can find one. It changes it subtly to different types. You can see the graph paper or whatever else you want. You can choose it to be read-only, passcode if you want it to. So if I want a passcode, I can type it in. I'm not going to put a passcode. If I want to change the cover color, I can change that. Pretty straightforward. I'll just change it to yellow for now. And yeah, so you can change a bunch of options. They have up to even orange and gray. They have a bunch of different types that you can do. A little, it looks like a calendar checklist style. So I'll click on that one. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then also, if you want to change the name of the notebook, just like on the Windows 10 one, you just click it and then you can backspace and you can just choose like, Family Guy. Let's do that. So you can just change that, and that's pretty cool. They do have gestures too. So if a two-finger gesture, if you pinch to zoom all the way in, it goes into the notebook. And then unfortunately, in order to go back, you have to actually hit that home button in the corner. And then in order to, if you want to zoom out, you pinch in. So you zoom out and it pinches in. Can't zoom out any further past this. Then you get to see all the notebooks that you've created. If you create like 20 notebooks, they'll all show up in this screen here. I only have 2, so that's it. And then when you click on it in this screen, each notebook, you see the contents of the notebook. So you can check off whether or not you want to delete a certain page and when you created that page. Or you can see the next one. I created this on April 9th as well. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to zoom in slightly. So they have gestures, obviously. Obviously, when I was doing this on the Windows 10 app, none of my computers have a touch screen, so I couldn't exactly do things like that easily. But this being a touchscreen device, an iPad, you can do those things. Now this app, one thing people might get frustrated with me with is that this app has some paid features, some in-app purchases, because this is the world we live in now. Everything is an in-app purchase now. You go to this little grocery cart icon here, you press it, and it has different types of notebooks covers you can get and things like that. This one is the free one. The maker one you have to pay 99 cents for. Artist one you have to pay 99 cents. Writer 99 cents. You have different tools. So you have the crayon. Basically what you'll see here says try here. So I can try the crayon. If I push down harder with the pencil, it actually does color. So I'm going to do it very lightly and get the little forest look. So it's pretty cool. I gotta admit, it's pretty cool. So if you like just using this to do all your sketchbook style things with the artist notebook, you can do that with the crayon. They have packs here. So this is the creative pack. It says get all the tools and receive artist notebooks as a free bonus. So you get all the tools down there. It looks like a pencil. You have a crayon. You have a paintbrush. Looks like you have some kind of simple marker or a permanent marker type thing. I'm not sure what this second to last one is. Then you have here, it looks like a mechanical pencil. So you get all those things included for $3.99. It's not that much. It's much better than some other apps charge you for it, but it is there. And then another thing that they have is the Bamboo Stylus Fine Line 3. It says its smart features allow more natural writing, sketching, and relaxed hand posture with ergonomic triangular design and shortcut button. So for me though, I have an Apple Pencil, so I'm not going to ever buy this Bamboo Stylus Fine Line. But if you specifically, for some reason, want the Bamboo Stylus one, I mean, it is an option that you can buy it to use with just this application. Then they have different stylus that they have, Styli. And this one, this one looks like it's just like a touchscreen pen. So like if you have one of those regular pens that have the little rubberized tip, it functions the same, this one here. So yeah, they have some packs that you can buy. And let's go into Giggy, and you'll see here, this ironically, and it's kind of annoying. In fact, I'm going to see if I can, nope, it's kind of annoying. This is the landscape view of it. You see where this line is at the bottom of the screen is the home line for the iOS. And you see that the icons are on the left, and then you see that the page number here is right there on the right. But if you notice one weird thing about this page number here, in fact, I'm trying to delete this thing. Let me go back. There we go. If you notice one weird thing about this page line, page right here, you'll notice that the strange thing with it actually is still sideways. It's still in essentially its portrait orientation. Now, if I rotate the iPad this way, you see the page line did not change, and it is still in that same direction, which is really strange. It's just, it doesn't make sense why it's there. Let me change the color a little bit so I can actually mark. It doesn't look like it wants me to mark. It's being weird. Let me see. Yeah, it's not letting me. Now it's letting me. So you can't mark outside the boundaries right there. It's still in its portrait orientation. It's very strange. I wish they at least did something so that way maybe they moved this thing right here that's in front of the arrow. I wish they moved it like maybe down here so that way you have one of two over there. I wish they did something like that, but they didn't do that. They just left it there. It's kind of an afterthought because it's the only thing that's not rotated to this entire screen. It's really strange. And then also they have this arrow here at the bottom here. They have this arrow. I'm going to put arrows because I can't write in that area. They have this arrow here, and when you press it, it goes to the next page, and when you press that, it goes back. Now, I understand the idea of it in that if you have a sketchbook, maybe the bindings are at the bottom of this screen where this one half is. Maybe that's where the little bindings are where you flip the pages. So you open it like a book if it's a portrait orientation. Now, the one thing I don't like about this is, again, this is a tablet. This is not a traditional notebook or sketchbook. So like, I wish they just moved the arrow. Maybe they scooted some of these icons up because there's a lot of empty space in this zone right here. I wish they moved the icon of this arrow here across to maybe the left side. I wish they moved it somewhere here. That way, at least you can change your page. No matter what, it'd always be like it's a portrait. That way, it's still opening like a book no matter what. Because it is a tablet, it's not a notebook. I understand the thought process, but it's kind of, finicky in that way. But yeah, you can still do just about everything you can do on the Windows 10 app. On there, you have the eraser tool where I can erase my little random chicken scratch. If you press it, you can clear the whole page. You can bookmark the page. If you click here, the little the teardrop icon, you can change the color palette. So if you want this color, you can do it. And so on and so forth. They have a ton of colors, and luckily they're not all paid. They're all free. You press the next icon, the fourth icon, and you have the various choices of tips. So you can choose what looks like a mechanical pencil or a very thin marker tip. And then they have this tip here, which is like a highlighter. Yes, it is a highlighter. So you can do that. And then, of course, you can change the color of the highlighter. If you want your traditional highlighting color, you can do that and you have it straight across. And then also you have the other ones that you basically would have to pay for. I think I talked about it before. I know one of these is a crayon. You have a marker, they have a paintbrush, and some other ones. And then they have the different thicknesses of the tips. So if you want it to be very thick or if you want it to be very narrow, you can do that. So that's one of the options that they have there. Another option that they have is you can also hit this button here and you can configure the stylus. Now this stylus thing, it functions with the Apple Pencil, but it does not work correctly. It says that you need the regular bamboo stylus in order to use it. So if I press it down with the Apple Pencil, it will respond because it's a stylus. In fact, if I press with my finger, it will also respond. So that's very interesting. But it needs to work with it's basically there for the bamboo pencil, so that way you can connect your stylus there. So it says switch on and press the tip here to connect. And obviously you can't switch on the Apple Pencil, it's always connected. So that's another thing. And then this button here just clears all the elements on the screen, so that way you can draw off on the edges and draw off on the edges. Then when you press it back, you can no longer draw on those edges. I guess that's if you're jotting down like specific border notes or anything. I don't know what the point of that feature is. I think they should have just let you draw on the edges no matter what. And then you have your forward and back buttons, so basically undo and redo buttons. And then you have your share button, the iOS share button. And then you also have your upload button, so you can upload pictures from photos or cameras, from your photo or from your iPad camera or your device camera. Both of these just bring up the standard interface that iOS has for importing things and taking pictures. And then you have the home button that takes you back to the home screen. So they have those simple features, and then there's also more. So they have the sync feature, which is with their Inkspace. So this is my first and last name. You see you can sync with Inkspace. That lets you sync your content across devices and things like that. I signed in, so therefore, should I actually want to use Bamboo on a bunch of other things that the company has created, I can do that. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There's not much going on this thing. It's arguably pretty straightforward. Like it's dead simple on here. Like I said, if I want to remove this notebook, I can hit the trash can, delete notebook. Do I want to? Yes, I do. And then I only have one notebook. So there's a lot of options. I don't know if this is the best app for everybody. I guess if you're really deep into the Wacom ecosystem and you just have all their stuff, don't know why you would, because I think most people that I know who are artists and just people who use the styluses and the what's it called, the drawing tablets, they mainly have a Wacom device because they're known for their drawing tablets. At least that's what I think of them as. They're known for their drawing tablets. But I don't see anyone I know who exclusively draws or sketches notes on their iPad tablet. So yeah, hope you guys found this video interesting or just informative is mainly what I'm getting at. This was Bamboo Paper for the iOS platform. I took a look at it on Windows 10 about a year ago, so you can take a look at those two videos, but this one is an all-encompassing video just looking at it on iOS. So yeah, if you have any questions about this application or anything you want me to do next, let me know. But my name is Kwaku, and I'll take you I'll talk to you guys later.